What's up, everybody? We got Matt Roda on tonight, my buddy, my friend, and we're going to be talking about having the faith. And I'm excited actually to see where this goes because I have no clue where it's going to go. And faith can go a whole bunch of different ways, or having faith can go a whole bunch of different ways. So I'm super excited. Matt and I don't think we've ever had this conversation, so I don't know where it's going to go, and it's awesome. I love it. So those are the best ones. So we're going to spend 30 to 45 minutes talking about whatever it is having faith. That is to Matt. At the end, he's going to give you the top 3 ways to keep the faith. John, what's up, my brother? How's it going? And if you can introduce Matt there for us.
Man, I am doing freaking amazing. So yeah, this is going to be a good one for sure. Matt Roda is the founder and co-owner of Roda Marketing, a digital marketing agency, also co-owner of Signer57, which I think is a badass organization you got going on there.
Oh, yeah.
Great career, definitely awesome. Pro Freedom American Apparel lifestyle brand is going to have big educational piece to what they do. Matthew's also founder of BattlefieldMastermind.com, Central PA's most elite mastermind group. Published 1 book, probably more to come for sure. How to Take Down a Goliath and Unleash Your Inner Hero. Matthew is a loving and beautiful wife, Helen, and 4 precious children, Caroline, Amelia, Lilia, and Miles. They also share their home with their 2 energetic dogs. What kind of dogs are they, Matt?
They're both mutts. One's an Australian Shepherd, Brindle Boxer mix, and the other little dude's a lab mixed with something. We're not sure. Both are rescues. Yeah.
Those are usually the best kind. So,
yep.
Matt, say hello and give the listeners an awesome win for the week for you.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you for having me. I'm super excited to be on this one with you guys. A win for us this week, or for me, but more us, is Roda Marketing. We signed our biggest client to date. So we've been in business for 13 years, kind of had a very similar pricing model for the last decade, 12 years, and talked to some guy semi-recently, told him what we offer, what we charge. He was like, you're undervaluing yourselves. You guys need to increase your prices. It can change the game for you. I was hesitant because I'm like, can we do it? And I did it with this new client, and no qualms, no questions. Like, he understood we're going to, make significant ROI for him. So happy to sign up. And I was like, this is glorious. Like,
dude, that's what I'll tell you what, that's what all of them say, dude. Gary Vee said the same thing. Eric Thomas, they all said the same thing. They're like, you know what? Sometimes you just got to change that level. And then when they say, okay, then you're like, dang. Why didn't I do this before?
I know. Yeah, that's what it was. Like, all week, I'm like, come on, like, officially sign up, because it felt good for, like, the courting each other for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I'm like, it's gonna happen. Like, I actually lifted weights with him this morning at his gym. Like, at this point, we're already friends, and I was like, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. But until you get like the official green light, you're always just like, please happen. And we got the official green light, and I was like, this is incredible. It's a really big moment for our business.
Awesome. Great for you, man. Great for you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So awesome. Yeah, man, we're going to jump into having faith. So definitely interested. But first of all, one thing I wanted to do is just, first of all, let us know what Signer57 is. I know you're repping it. I love the company. We got the Signer57.com. You need to go there. You need to order some stuff. But just kind of give a little background, because I think it is important. John's a veteran himself. As well, and we have a lot of guys who are veterans and service in our military as well. So, awesome. So just give a little promo right now. Let's get this. Let's do it right now.
Cool. Yeah. So Signer57, I'm 100% pro America, pro freedom brand. There were 56 patriots that signed the Declaration of Independence. We mostly, Jeff, the co-owner, the majority owner of the company, my good friend. He decided he believes we all should make a vow to ourselves, to others, that when we would need to be Signer57, we would all step up and sign that document to, defend our rights, protect our freedoms, basically like save our country at this point. So yeah, we're a lifestyle apparel brand right now. We've got gear, t-shirts, long sleeve t-shirts, hoodies. We're going to introduce a whole bunch of other things. We have about 8 different, sayings and graphics on the different stuff. But as mentioned in the bio, and I think what's going to separate us from our competitors, because there's plenty of pro America brands out there, and I had my Lions Not Cheap t-shirt on earlier, and like, I love a bunch of them. But we're going to introduce a very big educational component to the brand. So it's not just about repping the gear. It's about understanding our history, the flaws and the good stuff, but really what the intention of America and like the freedom in our country was all about. So I'm not into public school systems. I have teacher friends. I have students
That'd be me.
Well, for now,
who've made it pretty clear that like, pro America is not what's being taught right now. So we want to kind of step in that void and be a voice for that, it's a great country. We have plenty of stuff to work on, but it's a phenomenal country and we should respect it, admire it, and turn it into the, phenomenon that it's meant to be. So that's what we're striving to do.
Awesome. 100%. I love it. And I'm so thankful that you guys, had me there for the photo shoot.
It was
doing
awesome.
That. It was awesome. I'm so proud to be a part of Signer 57 and really just kind of make that brand. And I think that's one of the biggest thing is that educational piece to it. Because it's so important. Like, as being an educator myself, sure, we talk about it, stuff like that. But it's not, when you look back at like World War I, World War II, there was American pride, and when we were all around for 9/11, man, and that the shitty thing to happen, but dude, nobody gave a crap, who you were, where you came from, what color you were, what race you were, what religion you had, nobody cared because we were just all Americans. And, we need to get back to that because there's too much bullshit going on in our country with stupid shit here, fighting over this, fighting over that. Are you Republican? Who fucking cares? Like, dude, we're Americans. Let's just support each other. Let's get back to what the really roots are. When you go into that documents that were founded by the founding fathers, there was a lot of good shit in there, that is there. Just like when you look at, and we're going to talk about faith tonight. I don't know which way you're going to go yet, but when you go into the Bible, like I'm not a religious person, but when I read the Bible, like a lot of parts out of it, there was a lot of good shit in it. Now there was also some weird shit in it going, wow, I didn't know that was going to be there. But at the same time, I was like, man, there's a lot of good stuff in here. I don't have to have this I would say faith, but I don't have to have this religious background or anything like that. I know I believe in something that's more, but there's a lot of good teachings in that book, which is great. So I just want to let's move into the faith.
Hang on a minute. I definitely want to throw my 2 cents in.
All right, John.
Move on because, like I said, besides being a veteran, besides being, fully involved in the American Legion, I'm an officer here at our local, post 210 here. Lifetime member of the VFW. You know what I mean? So that definitely hits home. The American Legion, they sponsor an Americanism test at the high schools. And the scores that get recorded are absolutely ridiculous.
Oh, I can imagine.
You know what I mean? And it's like, how is it even possible?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so, yes, I appreciate what you stand for, what you're trying to push. And I think it's awesome and amazing. And
awesome, man. Appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah.
Coming from a veteran, we thank your service, brother. And,
absolutely.
Too, so. But yeah, let's I want to kind of have you jump into like in a quick snippet of Matt Roda's life from birth till now.
Love it. Hey,
it's been like all over the place.
Last guest, Lawrence, he gave Lawrence 2 minutes to do 60 years.
So
you only have half that
60
age.
I was gonna say,
So just a kind of quick snippet, just say, hey, like where you from, what kind of things in there, because I think just doing that and giving them background, giving the listeners a background, get to know you personally there a little bit and kind of your journey. And I think that journey is also going to flow into whatever it is that you're going to talk about with faith, and no matter which way that goes.
Cool. Awesome. Yeah. So born and raised in Lancaster, middle-class family. Yeah, right.
I'm just
across the river.
We're across the river. We're rivals.
Exactly. So, right. I had 2 older sisters, a younger brother. Parents were married, until my dad passed 2 years ago, a year and a half ago. So like watched a loving relationship. I was like the team captain in baseball and basketball, so very into sports through grade school. Early on in high school, decided to try some drugs, went down a totally different path, lost all my passion for sports, still played, but really didn't care. Went from team captain to riding the bench, which was just like a reality shock to me. And it really changed my persona and identity, which kind of pushed me further into the drug scene. That was high school, college. I got arrested twice in college, once in high school for drug related stupid stuff. Went to college for pre-law, was going to be a lawyer. Decided last minute I don't want to do this. So I ended up moving out to California, packed my bags in my car, moved out to California, San Diego. Worked at a student loan center for about 3 years, got laid off that job because they were bought up from another company. Answered a Craigslist ad to become a writer because I've always been passionate about writing. Met a guy who owned an SEO company, learned all about entrepreneurship, sales, marketing, project management, everything. Fell in love with the idea of not working in corporate America and be able to create my own reality and like dictate how much I make based on how smart and hard I work. So did that for a couple years with him. Called my younger brother, Adam, who's 3 years younger than me. Basically was like, hey, if I move back to Pennsylvania because I started to miss my family, do you want to start a business together? He was like, yeah, let's do it. That was 2010. So been doing that for the last 12 years, started and failed many, many businesses between that and before that. Met my incredibly beautiful and loving wife 7 years ago on a blind date, hooked up with my sister and my sister's good friend. They connected us, engaged 3 months later, married a year later, house a year later, first kid a year later, 4 kids later. Now I've got, with 6-month-old twins, a 2.5-year-old daughter, a 4.5-year-old daughter, and just living like the absolute best life I could possibly imagine.
Yeah.
I'm super grateful for all of it.
Oh yeah, man. That's awesome. Yeah, that's so awesome. And I like you've said a lot of those things before, but man, it's so cool just to hear it again and kind of see that journey. And it's just like, because I know you even more now. Yeah. And I'm like, dude, just to go through that story again and just to see, it's like, damn, okay, all right, yeah. I'm like, okay, cool. So let's dive into it. What are your thoughts on faith? How are you going to go with
Where
this?
are we going with this? Yeah,
where are we going with this? I'm interested.
So I was born and raised Catholic, so I was taught from a very young age to have faith, and whether it was have faith or just believe in something greater than us. And then once high school and college came, I kind of drifted away from organized religion for different reasons. I always question, like, even, stand, sit, kneel, stand, you have to dress nice, or like you're not doing God. I'm like, why does God care what we're wearing? Like, if we're good people, like, why does he care if I'm dressed appropriately on? So I've always, like, from a young age questioned things, but religion made sense to me. Having faith made sense to me because, cosmically, I'm like, this wasn't by accident. Like, something greater than us created all of this. So that was like my earliest tastes of faith, and that's remained with me through my entire life, is a belief in a higher power. But I don't want to go in that direction. I want to kind of take it in a slightly different direction. The first times in my life where I really like understood that I had faith in something, and now this isn't a religion context, but like just faith in something, was when I was screwing up high school and into college. I mean, I was screwing up a lot, and it was like like I mentioned really quick in that like synopsis, I was the all-star athlete, like, everything, like popular kid, everything was going for me. I had everything working in my favor, and then made a couple bad decisions, and I just completely went down a different path. And I put my parents, specifically my mom, because she was the heavy hand in our family. Like, my dad was kind of like the soft-spoken, like, watched from a distance, but didn't really discipline. It was like we were afraid of our mom. So I kind of I put her and my dad, I feel like her the most through hell for like 8-10 years of that transition where I was just screwing everything up. Because I got caught multiple times. I got, kicked out of school for a short period of time, arrested, where like they called my parents and they're like, yeah, we're bringing your kid home. Like, and I was a whole bunch of stuff that, like, looking back, I'm like, oh man, if my kids ever do that stuff to me, I'm going to lose it on them.
Right. As parents, don't we
I know,
like, we talk, like, my wife and I are like, ooh, like,
that's what Helen's always like. My wife, she's always like, I hope they get my genes. And I'm like, yeah, like, I hope so too, in a lot of ways.
Me three, he said.
Like some of my stuff I want you to have, but like not that part of me for sure.
But I think that goes along though too, is like, I think, and I don't mean to interrupt, but I think that's important that, like, I share the dumbass things that I did with my kids. Agreed. Because I'm like, hey, like, I did dumb shit and I didn't like it. Like, and because they don't see me drink, like, now, like, I'll sip some stuff or taste some stuff and be like, oh, it tastes like shit. I don't want that. But like, why though is the reason, why did I stop? Why did I do those things? Is
Yeah.
I did dumb shit that I didn't like. Like I
Yeah.
woke when I woke up and was like, what the fuck did I just like?
Yeah.
What the hell was like did I
And
do?
why? Yeah.
Why? What the
Yeah.
fuck? Like,
Yeah.
so I think that's important piece that we're talking about here, because I think that goes back to maybe what you're going to be leading into is that it's important to be that example for your kids and to share those things with
Yeah.
it. So
Yep.
sorry for that, but I thought I
No,
definitely
no,
wanted
it's a
them to do.
phenomenal point. I 100% agree with that approach with raising kids and just being an example to people. But yeah, so my mom would confront me with stuff and challenge me and tell me like she did her job. Let me put it that way. She did everything she should be doing, and she did it very, very well. And I was just a stubborn, teenager who knew everything and don't try to teach me anything. But during all that turmoil time in my life, I said to my mom over and over and over and over again, like, just have faith in me, keep the faith. Like, I know and I had the self-awareness to be like, I know I'm screwing up. I know I'm making terrible decisions. I know I should be doing better. I know I could be doing better. Why am I going down this path, even though I know I shouldn't be? I can't answer that. I'm not sure. Like, it was just what I was doing. It's like the persona I had embodied, and I couldn't shake it completely. But I knew it wasn't me, and I knew it wasn't my path and my journey, and it wasn't my destiny. So I would say to her over and over, like, just have, and I was saying it to her, but like back to myself, like, have faith, keep the faith, like, you will get through this. You will, I would say to her, you will come, I'm going to come out on the other side, and like, you're going to get to experience like the great me again. And like, we just have to we have to deal with this shit show that I'm putting myself through for whatever reason, I don't know. But that, like, as I got older and now, like, that's way in my rear view mirror. I'm really glad that I had that awareness at that time, because I feel like that made it easy for me to transition from a life of drugs and, petty crime, nothing like too serious, but like just really bad decision making, to where now you couldn't convince me to do anything like that anymore. Like, it was so easy back then to just do it. But now I'm like, you could offer me like all the money in the world and be like, hey, go back and do what you used to do. I'd be like, fuck no. Like, there's no chance in hell I'm doing that stuff again. Yeah. But that was a very clear, like, it was probably 10, 15 years moment in time where I was like, good for me for like being able to keep the faith in myself, even when I was cuffed, even when I was, walked out of the dorm room, my bags packed because I was getting kicked out of college, even when I had my dad sitting next to me in the courtroom because I was, deciding like what's going to happen now because I got kicked out of college for selling all these things. I just had this unyielding faith inside of me that was like, it'll all work out. Like, keep the faith, continue to be a good person. Because through all that, I was always a good person. Like, I was always a good person. I had good intentions. I had a good heart. Like, I wasn't hurting people, even though I was selling like weed, like here nor there. Yeah. But that was I would always fall back on that. It's like making terrible decisions, but a good person. Just keep the faith. Eventually, you're going to get through this. And here I am. I got through it.
Good for you, man. And I'll tell you, I'll share an epiphany I had probably, I don't know, it was probably 5, 6 years ago at least. My kids are all grown now. My kids are 31, 24, and 22. So I remember my youngest one, he did something right, and I'm just like, damn, dumbass kid, but you just pay attention and listen. And all of a sudden I realized, I was like, how many times has God sat up in heaven and looked down at me going, hey, dumbass kid, pay attention. Would you listen? And I was like, oh, wow.
That's it.
I was like, I was like,
okay, I get it.
Oh, wow. Oh, yeah. Geez, how many times has he done that? And I was like, oh, and my faith journey is fresh and new. I mean, long, not followed heavily, and has grown significantly over the last probably 4 years myself. So it's like, but that was definitely an epiphany. And when it hit me, I was like, oh, wow. So.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think
that's kind of that thing where you feel that nudge and that, come through.
Yeah. Yep. And I think the universe will continue to give you the lesson until you learn the lesson. That's it. And I think that's for me, it was, hey, dumbass, you can't keep doing the shit by yourself. Yeah. And I'm like, because, and that's, we wear so many different masks, just like, Matt, you were talking about, you wore different masks, at that point in time for whatever reason it may be at that season of your life. But, you got the same lesson over and over until you finally were like, all right, I'm going to take this lesson,
Yeah.
and that was me, hey, try to be the tough guy to take on everything, to fix everything, to do all that, but yet I wasn't doing anything for myself, and that's where that's important. So I'm actually glad you went this way. I was thinking you might go this way, and I was like, okay. Okay. And it's so great because when you were talking to your mom, here's what you said, and this is so important for our listeners too, is to understand the magnitude of this. Is like you kept talking to your mom about keeping the faith, but you said in there, as many times as you said that, you were so glad that you had the awareness. And that right there is so critical, is the awareness that you knew at the end, like things were going to work out. Things are going to work out. And that it's awareness is that key. Can you dive into how awareness, not only then, because you did then, but how does awareness now in your life and kind of over the past couple of years and so forth of building your family, becoming a husband, becoming a dad, how has awareness allowed you to continue to keep that faith? And you're talking about faith in yourself. How has that helped you, awareness?
Yes. I think you answered the question for me by connecting the awareness with the faith, because it's kind of one and the same thing. It's how do I keep the awareness? It's having the faith that no matter what I'm going through or what someone in my life is going through or a loved one or whoever, it'll get better. Like you'll get through it. Like nothing is permanent. You can always fight your way through. It might take a couple of days. It could take a couple of weeks. Like, my dad as an example, we fought that dementia battle with him for 12 years before he passed. But during that, I can tell you, like, there were very, very few moments in that entire journey where I felt bad about any of it, because it was like, for him, he was a very, very faith-driven man, heaven, hell. He lived by the book. Like he was big heart, did everything right. So in his head, it was like, I'm here to get there. And like, at some point, like we're all going to get there. So I found like happiness in his, just like the bad cards that he was dealt, which he didn't deserve, because I knew, and which he knew, and eventually he couldn't articulate that, but when he could, like the end was heaven on earth for him. And to me, I'm like, okay, like that's a gift. Like this is awful watching this happen, but like the finish line for him is like the greatest reward.
Yeah.
And it's
what can I stop you? Like that's powerful.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And just to be able to take that perspective, because a lot of times, whether it's dementia, whether it's cancer, whether it's Alzheimer's, whether it's any of those different things, death always sucks. You know what I mean? And going through it, but to be able to have that perspective and that awareness to say, you know what, like the journey that your dad went through, for him and his journey, it's not everybody's journey. It was his journey. Just to sit back and to appreciate that perspective from his lens, man, that's awesome. You know what I mean? I think that's very important that we kind of take awareness, because that also showed you a line of faith as well. Whatever that may be spiritual, maybe that may be in yourself, but it showed a line of faith for your dad and his perspective of life and his life, but also great perspective for you to take in as well.
It made
it easy.
Awesome. Yeah. And to kind of piggyback on that thought process, and something that just came to me is like, I call myself an eternal optimist. And like, I don't say that as like, oh, I'm eternal. Like I am an eternal optimist. Like no matter what life throws at me, like I'm just optimistic that it's meant to be, it'll work out for the better. It's just part of the process. Like everyone has their ups and downs, their crosses to bear, blah, blah, blah. And then I'm also extremely gifted, but I feel like I've worked on it. So it's not just gift, but like is finding a silver lining in everything. My dad had dementia for the first couple of years. The silver lining was like, you wouldn't even be able to tell if like they didn't run the scans on his brain, no big deal. Then it went to like, he starts forgetting a whole bunch of stuff and not being able to do things on his own. Silver lining was he still knows who we are. Like I can walk into the room and he knows I'm his son. Like I'm good with that. Like he could forget how to do everything. We had to feed him. We had to pick him up in and out of his bed. Like he still knows who we are. I'm good with that. And then eventually that kind of waned at the very, very end. And then it was silver lining is like, okay, he's ready to go meet his maker, which to him is the greatest gift that he could ever be given. I'm good with that. And like, I'm not sitting here saying like, oh, it was easy and like, death is like at all. But I'm saying like, it's inevitable. And I could have chosen two things: be destroyed by it, be pissed off and bitter by it, life's not fair. This isn't fair. He doesn't deserve this. And all those thoughts are part of the experience, but they're thoughts that come in and go out really quick. The essence of that experience is everything I just described, which is it was awful, but it was a blessing. And like here's another silver lining. You know, my mom was the main caretaker for, you know, the last 2-3 years, like day to day, hour by hour caretaker. And she, in a lot of ways, and like she didn't want to hear this, but like she was living in a prison because she couldn't leave the house because she had to take care of him if he got out of bed and felt like, so she was again like an angel on earth for him and for us, but she wasn't getting to live her great life. Now we have, you know, I have 4 kids, my brother has 2, my sister has 2 older ones, and now my dad passed, he's in a much better place, and now my mom has freedom. And she was just here this evening, like hanging out with our kids while I was, you know, doing another phone call and walking my 75 hard, you know, laps and stuff, spending time with her grandkids that she would not have been able to do if my dad was still on this earth. So like, I hate to, you know, I don't hate to, but like part of me is like, it's like pretty morbid to be like, his death freed my mom, but like, that is what it is. And if I take that perspective and we just show like the universe that appreciation, again, like I feel good about the path that we're all on. And I say this all the time too, like I had my dad until he was 67. My dad's dad died when he was like 15 or 12 or something. Like how lucky am I that I got to have a dad for, you know, 38 years of my life, because he lived to 67. Some people never meet their dad. Some people lose their dad when they're 6. Like could be way worse. Like everything in life, you could look at it as woe is me, or it could be way worse. And I have so much to be grateful for. And I think all of that being said, if you summarize, is like faith. Like it just, how's it all easy? How is life so good? Faith. Like it all fixes and works itself out when you have faith.
Dude. I'm like, and here's the thing. And I have a cross over my chest. Okay. I believe in a higher power, whether it's God, whether it's a flying ass pig, I don't know, whatever people believe, cool, cares? Whatever. I'll find out one day. But here's what I have: the word, I have love, I have integrity, and I have the word faith. And faith is placed right across my heart. And it's not because of the cross. It is because of me. Because that's the thing that moves me. When I look in the mirror and I see that word tattooed across my chest, I put it there in that specific place because I got to have faith in me. And just like you were talking about, like, I think this is the biggest part. And I'm so glad that you went here, because I was like, is he going to go? And you did. And I'm like, yes, like jackpot. Because the biggest thing, I think, when I think about it spiritually, I think the biggest thing that, as God, the greatest gift God gives you is a gift of choice. And it's your choice. And I think when we look at it all, he really wants you basically to have faith in you. He wants you to have faith that you're going to make the choices that are going to lead to the life that you actually really want to live. And not that you don't want to live. And I think that's one of the most powerful things for me, and why I'm not religious, but I feel like I'm super connected, is because when I look in the mirror and I see that word across my chest, I'm like, I got you, brother. And that's talking about me, you know, just like our brotherhood. I love every man in there, man. I'm my own brother too. And I haven't been, that wasn't a part of my life for a long time. For 36 years of my life, I wasn't a brother to myself. I was a dickhead to myself. You know what I mean? And I think that's one of the things. So what do you got to say on that? You know, any of that?
Me or John, you want to chime in, brother?
I see John sitting back there. I know you're taking it in, because you just said I think, you know, I think Mike, I was talking to one of our other brothers before, and I think he said you were on a spiritual thing as well, kind of before this too. So, you know, kind of getting your take too, because I know, like, for religion as well is in your part has become something that's different, more of a religious background. So, you know, what's your take on all this too?
You know, and it's definitely been a journey, and a great one, you know what I mean? And one that's gotten me closer, not only to God or higher power, whatever anybody wants, you know, but to myself, which I think is all connected together in that, you know what I mean? I think that, you know, when you find it in yourself and you connect with yourself, then you're connected to source, you know, and it has been a journey, you know, and one that has been exponentially hard and great at the same time. You know, it's as Clay knows, you're unaware, and some of the listeners may know, and it's something I've shared. My wife passed away a year ago in August, and so we were married for 26 years and got 3 awesome kids. And again, as you were saying, and that's why it was striking me hard, and I was like, "Ooh, boy!" You know,
I saw you sitting back there.
I know.
Saw you sitting back
I
there.
couldn't have
like
asked for anything better for her, and how when she did pass, that you know, she went peacefully in her sleep, and I could never ask for anything better in a million years. And it's been a huge gratitude journey for me for this last year and a half. I mean, even more for, you know, before that. You know, I've talked to Clay many times that, you know, I've been on a journey of trying to fix stupid for about a long time. And I keep getting closer. I'm not quite there yet by no means, but I keep getting closer. And so yeah, so this touched me deeply. And yes, I was on a different spiritual activation call right before this. So this just wound me right up and played right into it. So
Beautiful.
This has been great. So yeah. Thank you.
Nice.
Yeah. Clay, real quick. So
Yes,
and then John as well, you said like being a brother to yourself. And then John, you said being connected to the source. So I've said like, and I don't know how long this has been part of like my true belief system, but like, I believe we're all God. And I, you know, when I say that to my wife, Helen, sometimes she's like, "You're so arrogant." I'm like, it's not meant to be arrogant. Like, I'm not saying like I'm a God. I'm saying like we're all God. And I believe that. So, you know, Clay, to you, like being a brother to yourself.
I got a great one for you for that too.
Yeah.
And now here it is. 2 weeks in a row. Last week I talked about, I got a shirt that says it's good to be extra. I also had one made that says, "I am him and he is you."
Yeah. And that's
I mean? Like, that's just like that. And that came to me one day in church. One day I was sitting there at church and all of a sudden I like wrote that down and I was like,
I'm getting that printed.
You know, that's like right in my kind of language, but yeah, it's like I am and he is you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's that connection.
That's what it is, man. Yeah. Yep. That's your, you know, you're like your brother to yourself, or like you're just God recognizing God, or you're connected to the source, like you said, John. Like, we are the source. Like Clay's the source, I'm the source, you're the source, and then yeah. I mean,
Wayne Dyer said it one day. Wayne Dyer said it in one of his books. He said, God, source, power, Allah, whatever you call it. He's like, say it's a piece of cherry pie, and you cut that piece of cherry pie and you create man. Okay, so you take that piece of cherry pie. What do you got over here? You still got cherry pie. You know what I mean? It's still connected. You know what I mean? That's that connectedness. And I was like, man, that was kind of simple and deep and awesome. It was like,
and that's what that to me, that's a great question. I love it. And seeing what you guys do. And for me, I think it's pretty similar. You know, for me, I believe just like we're all a lighthouse. Well, so I was a tugboat for a long time. We transitioned into a lighthouse. We built the foundation. We set that thing up and we lit that mother up and we're shining it out. Yeah. But that light, that source, that light is through what I call, for me, the universe, the higher power, whatever that is. And I think for me, I always picture it like this, you know, especially when I meditate and I try to get in that space of connection, is when my hands are up and stuff, it's basically like the light comes here and like out my chest, you know what I mean? Like, like, because my aura, my energy, my whatever, we're all made up of atoms, which is the craziest thing. Like, you know, I'm looking at my desk. It's literally made up of atoms, the same thing as my hands. Like, it's crazy. Like, it's just depending on how it's arranged, it looks like this, or it looks like the things behind me, you know? And that's, to me, is so fascinating. So we're all energy. And one of our brothers was talking about quantum entanglement, where they just basically proved that it actually works. And so basically my energy, the notepad in my hand, is all like intertwining right now, which is really awesome. And so when we look at that, I really do believe that it's that source of whatever it is that comes and it goes through me. And I think too, like, a lot of people, purpose is faith-based. So again, we're purpose-infused brotherhood. You take your purpose and you infuse it in everything you do. It can be for some of our brothers and some of it's not, but basically purpose is who you are, and who you are is what shines out. And I think that's really the basis for, you know, the brotherhood, and being a part of that is like, who are you and how do you shine that out? And I think that's so important. And for you, man, you listen, I already know you know who you are, and I already know you shine it out. And that's what's freaking awesome, because I think one of the things I want to point out too is going back to your journey, going back to what you kept saying to your mom, is just keep the faith. I think that faith was that light, that energy that you always knew was there.
Yep.
And I think every man feels that.
Yeah.
And some people just don't know how to ignite it. They just don't know how. So what do you say to those men that are out there and be like, you know what, I feel like Matt did, that are relating to you, be like, dude, I know it's in there. I know there's this energy, this light, and I got to keep that faith. What do you say to men who kind of feel like that in that realm?
Day by day, step by step, brick by brick.
Yeah.
It's not like, I feel like that where like everybody wants the hack, the magic pill. It doesn't exist.
Life hack. Give me a life hack.
How can I light my fire?
Keep fucking
hack
going. That's the life hack.
That's
Keep
it, man.
going.
Yeah, like know your purpose, try to feel your purpose, and then live your purpose. And know you're gonna screw up, and you're gonna struggle, and you're gonna fail, but like stay true to the purpose and pick yourself back up as quickly as you can. Lay the next brick, and then you may run into the brick wall and shatter everything, and all of a sudden you're back to zero. Get that first brick and lay the foundation again. And it's literally, that's what I tell everybody. It sounds tedious and it sounds grand at the same time, but it's literally moment by moment of every single day. Like, what intention are you bringing to that moment?
Boom.
And what awareness are you bringing to that moment?
Boom.
And like, what result do you want from that moment? And if you navigate those questions and those experiences as best you can, as often as you can, the fire will light. Like, it will light, it'll be in there and be like, okay, like, I'm meant to now shine. I'm meant to, like, you're feeding me the timber. I've got the spark, and I'm feeding me the timber. And then all of a sudden it's like, it just caught on fire. And like, once that happens, just keep feeding it and getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah. Love it. And discipline. Like, for when I know Matt, I know discipline. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to. So when you're like, hey, if I would go to Matt's funeral tomorrow, whatever, I'd like, dude, that's a disciplined motherfucker. That's what it was. Like, that's what I'm going to tell you. Like,
thank you.
He's a disciplined mofo. Like,
yeah.
And that's the cool, because, and here's the thing, what you do, and I know every single day, I don't know what you do in your routine, but I know when you wake up, I know, and let me know if I'm wrong, but there's gratitude that's appreciated that you woke up. Number two, I know when you put your feet on the ground, that's the line that you're crossing to say, here's how I'm going to show up today. And it's the discipline that you put in place that allows you to be that man every single day. Would that be, did I call a spade a spade?
Yeah. And what I'd say to that too is it becomes automatic. Like, it's not even necessarily any like more where I wake up, I'm like, okay, today I'm gonna be the dad, husband, business owner I need. It's less like, this is just who I am. And that's taken, for decades I was screwing up, but even in those decades of screw up, those 2 decades of screwing up, I was working on myself. I was seeking who I was questioning myself, I was feeling the big picture, I was working towards it, I was doing all that inner work. And now that 7 years into like true freedom and like true purpose, because I gave all that heavy stuff up and I found my light, which was Helen, and like she helped create a bigger fire with our family and all that stuff. It's now just become like, it's who I am. Like, you could not offer me any amount of money, you could not offer me any other world or reality that I would ever want to step out of what I've been given and where I'm at right now, like, at all. Like, it's because I appreciate what I have so stinking much that I will not do anything to screw that up. Yeah.
And that's what I love. Appreciation. You want to, practice gratitude will change your life. Yeah. And put the discipline behind it. And I love how you put that in there too, because we don't want to build it to where it's automatic, that automaticity. I don't know if that's a word, but I'm making it a word.
It sounded good.
It sounded great. I should have just shut up and kept talking. The automaticity.
Don't try to spell it, but yeah.
I don't want to spell it. But no, we want things to be automatic in our subconscious. And that's what you've done. Discipline allows you to do that. But you have to have the inspiration behind it and the faith in yourself to say, you know what, when I make a commitment to myself, I'm going to keep that mother. And we talked about this in the Brotherhood, and we're doing the Get Your Fire Back challenge with a couple guys that are in there. And that's one thing we've been talking about the last couple of days, is that it's so important. When you make a commitment to yourself and you break it, you're telling yourself, I can't trust you.
Yeah.
Like to yourself. What do you think about other people saying to you? Like, think about the faith you're building in yourself when you make a commitment to yourself and then you break it.
Yeah.
Like, that's not a good thing. You know what I mean? And so go before we go. We're gonna wrap up here. This is the last thing I want to. You got something, John?
I do.
Okay, go. Because I would. Yeah, go.
Do you first, because you'll scroll out. Tell him what you want.
I will. Anyways, what do you say faith has to do into that discipline and keeping that consistent so you create that automatic?
So if you really, really, really have the faith that it'll all work out, that you're like planned for this certain destiny, and as long as you do, so if you really have that faith, you got to have the discipline to do on a daily basis, weekly basis, what you need to do to allow yourself to get to that destiny of like the faith of what you have. If you don't, you're just waking up and be like, oh, I really believe there's a beautiful world ahead of me, financial freedom and beautiful wife and kids and da da da. But then your actions don't align with that. Good fucking luck. Like you're not gonna get it. And you have to, once you know what actions to take, you don't just get to choose when you do them, when you feel like it, when you don't want to feel like, because then universe and God, whoever's going to just keep moving the goal line a little bit further and be like, well, until you like really show me you want it, just keep moving it along and making it a dream, making it a vision, making it faith, like action, compounded on action consistently over weeks, months, years, decades. Mm-hmm. And the faith that you're going to get there, you'll get there.
Yeah. Oh, love it.
Awesome.
John, go.
Awesome. So you said you're doing 75 hard. Awesome for you. What day are you on right now?
50 something, 55, 52.
Right. Good for you.
Thank you.
Good for you. Badass.
I mean, this is your third time?
Like third or fourth or fifth. Yeah. I just like it. It just gives me discipline, routine.
Let me ask you this. Is there a day in there that like super hard to, like, you're like, I know when I get to this point, this is good. Like, I really hate this.
No, my goal next year is I'm just going to do it every day and see how many days next year I do it out of the year. And I'm like, I'll probably hit 340 ish. Like, it's just like what I said, like, it's automatic. Like, this is just my life now. But,
now in all your times of doing 70 hard, have you read this great book? The greatest salesman in the world?
Nope. I'll make a note of it.
Definitely do it. Og Mandino. It's a small one, but it's awesome. And I'll tell you, and talks about 10 scrolls, and you live like by this and you become the greatest salesman in the world. In the first one, he talks about replacing good habits for bad habits, and then because you're a slave to your habits. So if you're a slave to a good habit, then you know what I mean. And so that kind of deals right into your discipline. I was like, man, he's like living right by that.
Yeah,
he's nailing it.
Good job. I can give you the perfect example. When I was doing drugs, it was habit, routine habit. Wake up, smoke a bowl, eat, smoke a bowl, sit down to watch TV, smoke a bowl, go to bed, smoke a bowl. Like it's what I did. It was my routine, it was my habits. I tried to quit many times, and I would quit for 3 days, maybe a week, and then I didn't replace that habit with any other habit, so I'd go back to my habits. It was just who I was. It's what I do. I need to fill the void. So finally, when I was finally able to kick drugs for good, it's when I went into this like new fitness lifestyle that I love and adore and crave at this point. And my wife, sometimes she's like, geez, like you're addicted to fitness. And I'm like, yeah, I am. Like I have an addictive personality, but like I've chosen to take those habits and routines and go all in on them so I can go all out on all the other routines and habits that I once had. But you can't, that's, anyone who's doing drugs or whatever, struggling with something, don't just try to quit without having a plan to replace that with something better, because you're just going to find a void, and you're going to fill the void as quick and easy as you can. And you're going to default back to what you've always done. So
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Love it, man. All right, let's get into so as we were talking about here, what are your top 3 ways that, again, I love it that you went this way, because I'm very interested. What are your top 3 ways that you can keep your faith?
Yeah, so I think we've already kind of touched on them, so I'm just going to like pull them back out and finish with this. Gratitude, because I feel like if you have a lot to be grateful for, you can have faith that you're going to continue to have stuff to be grateful for, whatever that looks like in the future. Optimism, eternal optimist, because I feel like you're going to constantly, and the third one is similar to that. So I'll kind of group those together, looking for silver linings and everything. So be an optimist and always look for the silver lining, because if you can keep that positive mental attitude through gratitude, through being optimistic, through finding something to be grateful for no matter what life throws at you, it's so much easier to just like believe that good can happen and will happen for you, because you're operating in that frequency constantly, and you're going to get punched, and it's going to like, you're going to be like, oh, my frequency just got a little fucked up. Okay. But like, if you're by default operating from that major frequency, you go right back to, and again, right back hour, 2 hour, like a day, maybe a week, like, but it doesn't take long for you to be able to take that circumstance, repurpose it for something good, connect that dot to, okay, now I've got like, I still have the faith that something good's going to happen because I'm doing all the right things, and I'm believing all the right things, and thinking and feeling all the right things.
Awesome, man. Those are definitely 3 tools that we can use: gratitude,
Absolutely.
eternal optimism, and the silver lining. So appreciate it, man. That's awesome. That's awesome.
My sincere pleasure.
Now we got the quick hit
Yeah,
Q&A.
I'm excited for this. I love shit like this.
10 questions, 5 seconds, answer all of them. No, I'm just kidding. Just one at a time. John, you want to go first?
Sure. All right. What's your favorite animal?
Dog.
Work or play?
Work is play.
Love it.
What's your favorite word?
Oh shit. Love.
Like it. Top book recommendation?
Can I give 2?
Yes.
It's two books I've just read recently, and I recommend it to everyone I'm talking to right now: 4,000 Weeks and Essentialism. Change your life if you read them at the same time, or like one after the other.
4,000 Weeks, Essentialism. Okay.
All right. Super funny because my cousin's husband just recommended 4,000 Weeks to me on
Phenomenal
last
book.
Friday.
Yeah, that's a sign. Get it.
Who is your hero?
My dad.
What's your deepest fear?
That my kids grow up and are not able to find fulfillment and happiness, true happiness.
Man, that's you. You just hit mine too.
Yeah.
Woof.
If you could go back in time to change any part of your life, would you?
I would not.
All right.
You know, I've always said I'm a firm believer that everything's happened exactly the way it's meant to happen. It's why I'm here today. And if I would change anything, I might not be where I'm at today, and I would not want to not be where I'm at today.
100%. 100%. What do you wish you would learn sooner?
To invest.
Do you prefer the soft cloud version or the sword version of the truth?
Give me the sword. Yeah, I give it to me straight.
I love it. I knew that was coming. That's all the sword. All right, last one. What's your biggest strength?
Discipline.
Yep, absolutely, 100%. So, man, where can people reach you at, Matt? Get a hold of you.
Yeah, social media. Matthew Roda is like my Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook profile. That's the best way. At MatthewRoda.com. I've got all like our businesses and links out to the mastermind and Signer 57 and all that stuff from there, my personal profile. So MatthewRoda.com is probably like the hub of where you can connect with me depending on what you're looking to do.
Cool. Awesome. And I can tell you, if you get linked up with Matt, I'm telling you right now, you got a whole shit ton of knowledge, information, tools that are actually valuable and usable that you can utilize and implement right away. So I know you got a ton of shit out of this episode. So here's what we ask you to do. Go rate, go review, go download, and go share it with one other person out there that you know is definitely going to take this in and go out and go kick ass and be a man that's on purpose and on fire every single day. Matt, thank you, man, for being here with us.
Thank you, guys.
Brother, thank you.
Awesome. Have a great night. Go out, kick ass every single day. Be that man that's on purpose and on fire.